Welcome to the Jerry Sinz Show. I'm your host, Jason Zaleski, here at the Buck-A-Neer in Roselleville. Of course, the Buck-A-Neer weekly specials every week. Wednesday, all-you-can-eat steak and shrimp and chicken and shrimp Alfredo. On Thursday, it's all-you-can-eat barbecue wings, chicken breasts, chicken wings, and fries. Friday, fish fry, and the best prime rib in the area on Saturday. Stop on down to the Buck-A-Neer in Roselleville. All right, Coach, homecoming on Saturday, and that special Saturday arrangement. Auburndale came to town, 26 win against Auburndale. And again, what you look for on homecoming is maybe a senior or two to have a nice day. Everett Brame, senior, did have a fairly nice game. Game sealed. Carter Butt sealed it with an interception later in the game. And just a pretty well-rounded overall effort from you and the guys on Saturday.
Yeah, I thought it was. Obviously, we were playing a little shorthanded, and Carter's nowhere 100%. He got a deep thigh bruise at Hurley, and it's not healed up yet. And it's finally started turning all black and blue on like Sunday, which is about 8 or 9 days after it happened. At first, it didn't look like should have been that sore, but oh yeah, so it was deep enough that you didn't see any of the black and blue until then. But I knew that he was way less than 100%. Jordan Bunkelman wasn't 100% yet either. And then, of course, we were without our quarterback and strong safety. But I thought the kids played hard, and they played well. We had great field position the first half, but we didn't take advantage of it very well. But we kicked well. Harrison Green kicked for Maddie, and he kicked well, so we pinned him deep several times, and then Aiden Weisenberger punted well too. And of course, we always talk about those things. Well, if you're a little lacking here or here, well, you can make up for it in special teams, and I thought our kids did. Everett got the big punt return then that set us up. So yeah, we kind of won the game in special teams. Auburndale obviously has a very good passing attack. I think they threw about 30 passes and ran the ball about 30 times, and our defensive backs played well, but they're pretty much all seniors and did a good job.
Auburndale passed 29 times, ran 31 times. So, yeah, Coach, I think you're pretty spot on there. Yeah, we talked about Trayton Weber from Auburndale and the type of threat he posed. You're able to keep him contained, 81 yards on the ground, had 13 completions, but the 3 interceptions. Your guys were ready. Talk about how that preparation during the week turned into productivity and success on the football field on Saturday.
Yeah, we went over all our pass routes and tried to go over what coverage we thought would be best. We switched it up sometimes, but most of the time they stuck with their regular zone concepts. And yeah, he was under pressure a few times, obviously, kind of getting hit, and then he'd put one up trying to force it. And 2 of them were pretty close to the goal line, so it stopped drives of theirs. Certainly Tegan Streitz was, I know for sure. But yeah, the 3 interceptions obviously were big game changers.
And then lastly, I was going to say this to the end, but we're going to rip it off right now. Sometimes you and I get to have fun at the end of the show talking about the Packers. Maybe we'll do that yet. Mascots, anybody knows me, mascots are a big favorite of mine. I love a good mascot. You had the Wildcat out there. I don't know who was in the costume, and I don't think we should say the name today, even if we do know. A national anthem, we had the Wildcat in the national anthem. The Wildcat banging around some cymbals and way off beat, Coach. They were missing the beat altogether. So how do you go about auditioning to be the Edgar Wildcat?
I was not aware that there was a Wildcat out there because I wasn't looking around and back. My coaches told me that there was some fan there too that was screaming and yelling the whole game, and I don't know who it was. I said, I never heard anybody. Oh, God, they go, how could you not hear that guy? I don't know. But no, I don't know who the Wildcat was, but I'll have to ask now, and I'm sure somebody knows who it was.
And then, one of the ideas would be to, go to the band practice ahead of time and, get. I love the mascots. And whoever it was, it takes a lot of courage, to put that costume on and get out there and have fun. And I'm sure they had fun. It was homecoming, so you got to have, the Wildcats out there for that. Okay, a little bit of fun to kind of wrap up last week. 20-6 win, homecoming winners, the Edgar Wildcats over the Auburndale Eagles. All right, Coach, we'll move on now to this week. You got Abbotsford coming. Abbotsford has had a strange season, I guess is the best way I can say it. Of course, everybody in your conference had some of the 8-man defections go, and so you've had to fill some gaps and find some games. Abbotsford has been in that mix as well. They did that last week. They found a game against O'Connell, and then towards the Friday came and O'Connell couldn't make the game, so no game last week for Abbotsford. So they kind of had a bye week, but they've had bye weeks before. How do you prepare for a team like that that's been a little start and stop on the season?
Yeah, they only played one game in the last 3 weeks now, so the film that we have on them is not, well, the only film we have on them that's kind of current is against Auburndale, because we were watching that film for Auburndale. And but they started out the year with 4 pretty solid wins in a row before they had some quarantine kids when they were supposed to play Colby. So yeah, they were rolling pretty good. They're huge. Their center's like 355. I think their right tackle is 360, a right guard. So they have some guys that are huge. Have a very talented tailback, even though they've only played 5 games. He's got about 1,000 yards. And I believe their quarterback, Castillo, he also has, I think, about 600 yards. And he's a little guy, so he must really be shifty. Of course, he can hide behind those big guys. You can't find him. But so they have a very good running attack. Those 2 guys together have like 1,600 yards in 5 games, which means they're averaging over 300 yards a game between them. So we're certainly going to have our work cut out stopping their running attack. I think they just keep running behind those big guys, play after play after play, to keep the ball away from you, and hope that you make a mistake somewhere. And Feltisi may break one, because he's fast and he's shifty. He had over 1,000 yards last year too, I think. So certainly they're going to present a totally different problem than Auburndale. I mean, Auburndale was throwing the ball around a lot. Abbotsford hardly doesn't throw it all. They will be much more similar to Hurley again now, that wants to just pound it at you, except their backs aren't so big like Hurley's were.
Coach is on fire today, folks. Almost 1,000 yards for Ty Faltasek. That's right, 932. JV Castillo, the quarterback, 117 yards through the air. So they're going to pass, it seems like, when they're put in a down and distance situation, when it's forced upon them. But you're right, they're going to run. What did you learn against Hurley that can help you find some success against Abbotsford on Friday night?
Well, yeah, I'm not sure. All you can try to do is limit, their gains, not let them break any big ones, and hope that they end up having a turnover or get a penalty. Now, when we played Hurley, they never turned it over once, and they didn't really have rarely any penalties either. Mm-hmm. So if they don't, then you got to really, we've been very good at stiffening up when teams get by the goal line. We've given teams some yards, but, Stratford game, we only gave them 9 points, and Hurley we held up 14 through, 4 quarters, even though they were moving the ball, and so on. So that we've been pretty good at. So we're hoping, that we can do the same kind of a thing. Obviously, we're going to be a lot closer to full strength this week than we were last week, so I think that's going to help us.
Again, game time Friday, 7 o'clock. Coaches, this is usually the time I remind the audience that we'll have the game live at ZaleskiSports.com. That's still our plan. With no facilities at Abbotsford and rain in the forecast. Imagine that, another Friday with some rain in the forecast. That might limit our plans, and this is always the time where I tell people, Edgar to Abbotsford, it's this far. Get in your car and drive down there and cheer these guys on. But we ask you about the weather every time, Coach, and you're a bit of a running team this year. Abbotsford's a bit of a running team. They'll have the grass up a little bit longer probably, because they haven't played on it in a while. How does... with the rain, and we've had talk about rain all the time, ball security, that's got to be a big thing in wet weather.
Yeah, it will be. The latest thing I've seen now is that maybe it's going to rain Thursday night and Friday morning, and maybe it's going to be gone by Friday at noon or so, which is what we're hoping for.
Yeah.
I was amazed at how hot it was last Saturday again when we played Auburndale. I mean, it was humid at like 77, 78 degrees. Our kids were dead tired at halftime, and I told them, well, I hope Auburndale's as tired as you guys are, because you guys will look really tired. and they probably were, because I talked to some other people, and they said, oh, yeah, I was hot just sitting there watching it. And I said, well, yeah. But this week, of course, we won't have to worry about the heat, because it'll be in the evening and it'll be cool. But nobody likes rain in a game, fans, players, coaches, nobody. So hopefully the rain will be done by 3, 4 o'clock.
filming here tonight at the Buck-A-Neer, both Coach and I have shorts on, so that'll give you an idea. We probably won't have shorts on Friday night. That probably won't be happening. By the way, come out at the Buck-A-Neer. Again, Friday fish fry, Saturday prime rib. You might even consider making reservations if you're going to come on out. The place is pretty popular here, Coach, and that's why we like to come out here. All right, we've got 2 weeks of the regular season left. We're talking about your game at Abbotsford. We've covered that one pretty well. I know you're still searching for a game in Week 9. Is that right? As I kind of took a look around the area, it seems like a team in your division, a team that's playing really well, another ranked team in the Pacelli Cardinals, likely to be looking for a game in that Week 9 as well. Would that be a consideration, knowing that we can't predict and project playoffs and that kind of thing, but certainly a possibility that the Pacelli and Edgar might meet in the playoffs? Would that change your mind about maybe picking up a game like that in that final week?
Yeah, I didn't know. We found out today that Westfield looks like they might be open. Okay. And they were supposed to be on the road. And so obviously we want to get a game at home because we want to get a senior night game, and we haven't had a senior night. We've only had 3 home games all year. And so this would just be our 4th if we could get one. But I would have no opposition to playing him, even though it is highly likely that us and Pacelli will be in the same group of 8.
I would say.
Yeah, it's highly likely. But in 2019, we played Hurley twice. We played them in the regular season and in the playoffs. So it's not like we haven't done it before. We used to play Stratford in the regular season, and we'd play them in the playoffs when we were both in Division 5 too. So those kinds of things have happened.
Yeah, we'll see. Right now, Pacelli is on the schedule for Wild Rose. Wild Rose has sat out the last 3 games, and just never know sometimes. Okay, and then finally, we may have touched on this a little bit last week, so we don't have to talk about it too long. But the computer's doing the seating this year. They take into account all kinds of different things. So there's no more get in the room with the other 7 coaches and kind of battle it out a little bit and that kind of thing. Does that make a difference? I mean, these games. I mean, obviously, you're playing to win these games, and it's just something new, just a new wrinkle, seeing if they can avoid any kind of coalitions and all these other things that might interfere in a human being seed meeting?
Yeah, I don't really know, of course, because we haven't seen it much. Last year was going to be the first year, and then we had the abbreviated playoffs, so we didn't really get a real good idea what it's going to be like. But certainly with the fact that we've lost 3 games, well, we're certainly going to have to be down. And we're hoping maybe we can get a 3 seed, depending on who else is in there. I believe in 2016 was the last time we lost 3 games in a year. We got a 4 seed that year, and of course we ended up winning state that year because we got everybody healthy at the end of the year, and we were hurt a lot late in the year, and losing close games. But so injuries, of course, always have a lot to do with it too. But we don't really care that much whether we play at home or on the road in the playoffs, to tell you the truth, because we seem to play just as good on the road as we do at home.
Here's what I do know, that computer's got a cold heart. It doesn't care much about the emotions. From what I'm understanding, it cares about wins and who you beat, and then their winning percentage, and then who they beat and their winning percentage. Just numbers. That's Correct. It. Just got a cold heart other than that. All right, Coach, we'll wrap up with the Packers again. I think we've had some pretty good talks about Green Bay. Of course, they pick up a win against the Steelers on Sunday, a Steelers team that doesn't look like their quarterback is any good anymore. And Green Bay seems to have they got a little win streak now. They 3 straight wins, and looks like arrows pointing up over at Lambeau.
Yeah, things change so quickly in the pros. I mean, when a guy looks at that first week where New Orleans looked so good compared to Green Bay, and now New Orleans is 2-2 and we're 3-1, so all of a sudden looks like we're better than them. Well, and when we played them, we sure didn't look better than them, but that's the way it appears now. And so the main thing that I'm really impressed with the Packers is that they have so many guys hurt. Yeah. And they're still playing good. I mean, key guys. Their 2 best offensive linemen are out. Their best linebacker, pass rusher is out. So when you got key guys out and you're still winning, then you're thinking, well, man, if we can get our team healthy, we should really be pretty darn good. So I think that's what everybody's hoping for.
All right, well, good. Well, we always like coaches inside on the Packers. We have a little bit of fun off camera, too, talking about NFL football. So, all right, Coach, well, best of luck at Abbotsford on Friday night. We hope we can broadcast the game. If not, we'll have highlights for sure, though. So that'll do it from the Roselleville on this week's Jerry Sinz Show. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next week.
One of the better national anthems in the area. Vinny, the Edgar Wildcat mascot, putting in some work on the cymbals during the anthem. Yeah, it's warm out there, and wearing the fur of that Wildcat is going to be a tough chore for the Wildcat today.